Hello crafty friends, it's Diane with Bean Street Paper, and tonight I'm going to do a video on how to make mini desk calendars. A lot of people have been asking me how I make mine, so I'm going to show you. And this is kind of a process video, so you'll have to bear with me as I decide what I'm going to put together here. You're going to need a scoreboard, a paper cutter, and I have chosen this paper is from an old Die Cuts with a View paper stack called Mariposa. And then I just have 2 pieces of cardstock. You'll need a base piece of cardstock that's going to actually be the base of your calendar, and then a matte piece. You can not have a matte piece if you choose not to, but your cardstock that you're going to actually make the base out of should be kind of sturdy. And then you'll need one of these tiny little calendars. I got mine on Etsy. I'll put the link below. And then just random embellishments. I'm going to use some flowers and maybe some gemstones and things like that. So I'll show you how that goes. I'm also going to fussy cut out this little butterfly right here and probably use him as an embellishment, because I think my calendar is going to go in here. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to use this green as my base for my calendar. Oh, and you also need a glue. So I use hot glue to glue my embellishments on, and then I use my ATG gun to glue on my pieces. So what I kind of want to do is cut my base, and this is how easy this is. You're going to take your paper cutter and your 12 by 12. You have to cut the base out of a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. And you're going to cut your 12 by 12 piece of cardstock at 6 inches. Okay, and then you can actually make 2 calendars from a piece of cardstock. Okay, so let me show you how easy this is. So you're going to cut your cardstock at 6 inches, and then you'll have a 12 by 6 inch piece of paper. Lay it on your scoreboard. You're going to score this piece of paper at 4 inches, which is right here. Let me use this. Oh. So 4, 8, which is here. Sometimes I go too fast and I'm not in the groove. Okay. 9.5. And 11. Okay, so 4, 8, 9.5, and 11. And then you can put your scoreboard away because you're done with it. And let me show you what you're going to do. You're going to fold. I like to turn it over because I like to fold where the hump is. I like to have that on the inside. You're going to fold the 4 and the 8 together. Okay. And then you're going to take this other side and fold it in also. So really you have like a book, see? But this is the side that has more scores on it. I just flipped it around. Okay. Then you're going to take, okay, at the first score, you're going to fold it to the left. So you want to go back this way. Okay. And then this last tiny little score, you want to go back in. Okay. And score all those real good. Then, so this is what you have, right? See how that made like a little tent there? Okay. Now you're going to take, and this is the part I use hot glue for because I want it to stick real well. You're going to take this flap and glue it to that little it's not really an inch. Yeah, it is an inch. You're going to hot glue it just like that. Okay, so let me put some hot glue on my, just get it started here. Now, I came back to my craft room today, and I had left my hot glue gun on. Whoops. That could have been bad. Luckily, it was on the Teflon sheet, but... Okay, so I got it started, and then I'm just going to glue the rest down. Okay. So now you have glued that little flap, and you literally have a tent. It's going to stand up on your desk just like that. Easy peasy, right? Okay. Set that aside for a minute. I'm going to take the piece that I want to be my matte piece underneath my picture piece. And I'm going to cut that. I like 1/8 inch mats, so I'm going to cut it at 5 7/8. Okay. You can set that piece aside. Cut it at 5 7/8 by 4 1/8. I need 2 of those, front and back. So 5 7/8 by 4 1/8. Okay. Then I need so these little pieces on the bottom are 1.5 inches. I'm gonna need a 1 3/8 inch piece. I'll need 2 of those. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I have all my mats. And now here comes the tricky part. I need to kind of figure out on this piece where I want to cut this so that it lays just right on my calendar. So let's see what happens. The piece that I'm going to have to cut is going to be 5 3/4. But if I cut this at 5 3/4, it's going to cut off my butterfly. So I think I want to just take this other side right here and cut it up to this edge. Just snip a little bit off, I guess. And that way, when I cut it at 5 3/4, oops, sorry, moved you guys. When I cut it at 5 3/4, nope, it's still going to be a little too long, so I'm going to cut a little bit more of that off. I'm not measuring this, I'm just kind of trying to figure out what's going to keep my butterfly on the page. I think that's going to do it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So let's do, I'll need a back, so I'll do that at 3 3/4. And this will all make sense to you once I start kind of putting it together. I'm going to cut this guy right to the tip of his wingy wing there. And see what happens here at 3 3/4. That looks great, actually. So that's going to be, those are going to be my 2 bases. And then I need to take I'm just going to use this piece. I'm going to cut it. It'll be 1 1/4. 2 pieces at 1 1/4. Okay. Now you put your paper cutter away because you're not going to need that anymore today. Okay. So here's what I got. Here's my bases. And there's my pieces. Put this little guy out of the way for a minute. I'm going to take my ATG gun and just assemble these. Now you can do them with 1/4 inch mats. I prefer a smaller mat. Okay. Set those aside. We're going to do these guys right here. Okay. Oop, I'm kind of making a mess here. Yep. I did something wrong. I cut that too big. I'll trim it up in a second. So mistakes happen, y'all. It just happens. Okay. Grab my paper cutter again. Okay. So these are going to be, oh yeah. So these are going to be 3 7/8. I screwed up. There we go. 3 7/8. Okay. Now you can put the paper cutter away because you're not going to need it anymore. Okay. So we'll need our tent piece back, and I like to put this little seam at the back. So this is going to be the front. This guy right here is going to be the front. So now this is the part that you really have to pay attention to if you have pattern paper. Make sure all your pattern paper is going the right way. Like, I like to make sure that it's all, you'll see. So I'm just going to mat this guy on here, right? That's my front. Now, this is going to be my back. I guess it doesn't really matter. So this is going to be my back. Okay. He's going to go on this side. Now, I fold this guy out like this to do the bottom and just take a peek at it. So this piece is going to go this way so that the pattern actually goes. I mean, I know nobody's really going to turn this over and look at the bottom, but for my peace of mind, I like it to flow. So instead of putting it this way, which would be the wrong way, I want to make sure I put it this way, which is the right way. I know. Craziness, right? Okay, so there's one piece. Then this piece is going to go this way. So when I turn this over, nope, right? He's going to go like that. Now, just check them one more time. Now, he doesn't really flow into this piece because this was a piece from a different piece of the paper, see? However, this is the front, and that to me is what's important, that it kind of flows like that. Okay? Now, we just fold him back in, and there you have the base of your desk calendar. Okay, he stands up. Then I take the little calendar. I also like to mat that. So I just use a piece of the same mat that I used for this. I'm gonna cut it at 2 by 3 inches. Okay. I guess I fibbed when I said you wouldn't need that anymore. Your paper cutter. You do. Just, that's it. I promise that's the last time. Okay, and again, see, I like to just mat it like that. I'm going to use my hot glue gun. Oop. Okay. Just kind of slide him on there. Oop. I know it leaves strings, but you know what? I feel like it's the best adhesive for that part. And you know what? Quite honestly, you can just wipe the strings off. Okay. Now, I'm going to trim this up a little bit. Make it a little closer. I know. Just eyeballing it, not making it crazy. Okay. I may have gotten that a little crooked on there. Okay. Now comes the fun part. I just kind of want to play with my placement. So I think I want him to go right here, like right in the middle of my calendar. You know, this paper's so pretty that I probably could just leave it like that. But I like to embellish it a little bit. Again, I use hot glue for this part so the calendar doesn't come off, because when you're tugging on it to tear the page off, I feel like it needs to be a little bit stronger than your average adhesive. Okay. And I just wipe the, okay, so there's your basic calendar. Now, I'm going to go a little further. I'm going to get my hot glue gun out of the way so I don't burn my fingers off or anything. And see, pull over my pack of flowers here and see what I've got that would be pretty with this. And again, a lot of it is just pulling out a bunch of stuff, deciding what looks good, and then trying to figure out if you want to leave that on there. Is that really how you want it? Or glue doesn't really go. These kind of go though. These are just random flowers from the paper studio. Okay. My goal here is to get enough, you know, I just kind of, I don't want to glue it on top of my calendar. I kind of want it to just go around the edge. And then I want to take this little butterfly and fussy cut him out with my small scissors and use him as an embellishment. So he'll be part of the calendar also, but he'll be a little more dimensional than the other guy in the upper corner. This guy. I'll probably put him on top of the flowers. It just depends. How. These are super fun gifts for teachers or, you know, doctors, students, really anybody. They make great, great gifts. We sell these in the coffee shop around this time of year because they do make great gifts. So people pick them up and give them for Christmas if I make them that quickly. Sometimes I'm a little behind, like this year. I'm a little behind. So I think I'm going to glue him there. And then I did have some other lime. Or I thought I did. Maybe these, a couple of these. Okay. Uh-oh, he lost a, somebody lost a doohickey. And like I said, now it's just a matter of kind of placing it all together. I want, sorry, I'm trying to do it one-handed. I want the flowers in the back to be a little taller than the ones in the front, and that's because, so these more dimensional ones I want to go in the back. That's because I want to have something to glue my butterfly to. Now, you can put, these are mostly just flowers from the paper studio. It's not going to impede with the tearing of the calendar. I think that's it. That's what I'm going to put there. Put this guy right here on top. Put his little thing back in. Not that it's going to matter because you're not going to... Oop. Oh, never mind. We don't need that piece because he's going to be covered up by this. See that? Just make sure nothing's glued on top of that. Okay. So I think I'll keep those. Okay, so now that you guys have listened to me talk to myself for a while, I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope you all make your own calendars, and I hope this was easy to understand. And if you like what you saw, then please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments below what kind of videos you'd like to see. And until we chat again, happy crafting!